Hi everybody! My name is Desiree and I am a spirit medium, Reiki master, and spiritual workshop facilitator. Many of you have reached out to me and said that you were very interested in learning more about spirit communication. So let's start with the basics. Today we are going to learn about the 6 magical, mystical, metaphysical senses. So I'm sure that many of you are quite familiar with our 5 physical senses: feeling, hearing, smelling, tasting, and seeing. Now, for every single one of those physical senses, there is a corresponding metaphysical sense that helps you to pick up on messages from subtle energy around you and from the spirit world. Clairsentience is feeling, Clairaudience is hearing, Clairolfactance is smelling, Clairgustance is tasting, Clairvoyance is seeing. And then we actually have one more bonus metaphysical sense. The 6th metaphysical sense is Claircognizance, or sometimes my mom and I like to call it Claircognizance. Claircognizance is knowing. So how does this work exactly? We know that our ears help us to hear, our eyes help us to see, and our nose helps us to smell. But how do our metaphysical senses work? Each of your metaphysical senses corresponds with one of your chakra energy centers in the body. So let me break it down for you. I like to say that your chakras serve like mini satellites that help you to pick up on information from spirit. So for example, clairsentience is associated with your sacral chakra, solar plexus chakra, and heart chakra. When these chakras are open, it helps you to receive information through those chakras and receive feeling messages from the other side. Your throat chakra has 3 metaphysical senses associated with it: Clairaudience, Clairolfactance, and Clairgustance. Or in other words, when your throat chakra is open, you are able to receive hearing, smelling, and tasting messages from spirit. Clairvoyance is associated with your 3rd eye chakra, and claircognizance is associated with your crown chakra above your head. Now let's look a little deeper at each of the metaphysical senses. So I want to make it very clear that these metaphysical senses are a part of all of us. And I want you to start to think about, which of these clairs am I already starting to experience? Okay, let's go. As I mentioned previously, clairsentience is the ability to feel messages from spirit. The most common form of clairsentience that people experience is gut feelings. If your guides want to try to give you an indication that they want you to move in a certain direction, they will send you a very positive feeling into your sacral chakra. The spirits also sometimes send gut feelings when they do not feel going in a particular direction would be in your highest good. Another form of clairsentience is the ability to feel spirit around you. You might think, I feel that my grandmother is with me. I feel her love being sent towards me. This is an example of clairsentience. The last form of clairsentience that I'll mention is physical sensations. Sometimes people will feel hot or cold when spirit is around. If you've watched my video about my story, you remember that I received tingles from spirit. These were physical sensations or clairsentient sensations that I would receive from spirit as a way to know that they were around. I've even had people tell me that they feel their animals who have passed on lying beside them. A little girl once told me that she felt her little dog in spirit was licking her hand when she was trying to go to sleep at night. Clairaudience is the ability to hear from spirit. These messages could come to you out loud, or they could come to you like a voice in your mind. One very common form of clairaudience is having ringing in your ears. I'm not talking about the medical condition where you have a constant ringing. I'm talking about when your ears ring at very specific moments. Your ears could ring when your guides want you to pay attention to something that is happening around you. My mom receives a lot of ringing in her ears as messages from spirit. Sometimes she'll tell me, "Des, they're ringing me." And then we'll know that the spirits are around and they want to communicate something to us. My mom has said that for her, her own personal guides come in on her left ear, and when other spirits are around her that she does not know, she hears the ringing in her right ear. I really encourage you to pay attention to any patterns that might develop about what kinds of tones you hear, which ear it is ringing in, and then you can begin to discover for yourself what each particular ring means to you. The next metaphysical sense we'll talk about is Clairolfactance. Clairolfactance is the ability to receive spiritual smells. I've had clients tell me stories of driving on the highway in their car, and all of a sudden they start to smell this overwhelming scent of cigarette smoke. And then they might know perhaps their grandfather or father are there in the car with them because they used to smoke when they were on Earth. Sometimes people will smell the scent of a person that has passed on, such as their perfume or cologne. So pay attention. You might find that if you're getting a smell out of nowhere and it's not originating from the physical world, you might be receiving a smell from the spirit world. Clairgustance is probably the least experienced metaphysical sense. This is the ability to receive tastes from spirit. When I've taught classes to kids about communicating with their spirit loved ones, many times kids have asked, "Can my spirit guide send me cookies?" Good idea, kids. I think we should give that a try. Clairvoyance is the ability to receive visions from spirit, to perceive spiritual beings through sight. It can also mean being able to see auras, chakras, or other subtle energies. For me, in my mediumship, I receive all of my clairvoyant messages in my mind's eye, or in my third eye with my eyes closed. Some people with a very developed clairvoyance are able to see spirit beings as if they were standing in the room with them. Or they might be able to look at you and see your aura around you, or see what your chakras look like. And I've met a few people that are able to do this, and I think it's fascinating. But either way, clairvoyance works just as well inside of your mind's eye as well. So you might receive mental images as messages from the other side. Sometimes these images might be symbolic, or sometimes they might be literal. I have received clairvoyant messages about an activity that I am supposed to do that day. I have found that whenever I follow a random image that comes into my mind, I'm often really surprised that there might be something extra special that happens when I follow that mental impression. The other aspect of clairvoyance is receiving dreams from spirit. Many people have visitations from their spirit guides, from their spirit loved ones in their dream state. And so if you have a lot of dreams where people who have passed on are coming to visit you, it is likely that your clairvoyance is already quite open. Okay, so this leaves us with claircognizance, or, as my mom and I like to call it, claircognizance. Claircognizance is the ability to just know from spirit. To know something, but to not really know how you know it or why you know it. This could be something as simple as knowing who's calling you before you look down at the phone. Or you know that you need to pack something into your bag, such as an extra pack of tissues, and then later you're with your friends and someone says, "Does anyone have a tissue?" And you say yes, because you just knew that you needed to bring it. Sometimes it can be a little bit confusing, the difference between clairsentience and claircognizance. The way that I differentiate the two is that clairsentience is more feeling based, it's more emotional, whereas claircognizance is not really that emotional at all. It's more like a light bulb just goes off above your head and there's a stroke of inspiration that has suddenly hit you. All 6 of these metaphysical senses work together, just the same way that our 5 physical senses do. So it's possible that you might hear a message from spirit and at the same time be feeling a deep sense of peace and maybe receiving some other kind of mental image or mental vision at the same time. Take a moment to start to think about which of these metaphysical senses feel like they're already open for me, and are there any metaphysical senses that I would like to experience more? For example, maybe you're getting a lot of clairsentient feeling messages, but you would like to receive more mental visions. If that's the case, my recommendation is to strengthen the chakra that is associated with the metaphysical sense that you would like to experience more. So in this case, if you wanted to strengthen your clairvoyance, I would suggest to do whatever you could to strengthen your third eye. There's a few different ways you can do this. If you're familiar with Reiki, you could send Reiki to your third eye chakra. You could place a crystal on the chakra that is associated with the third eye. You could wear or eat the color of the chakra, or you could meditate on opening the chakra. So that is Metaphysical Senses 101. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today. If you have had an experience with one or more of these metaphysical senses, please leave your stories in the comments below. It would be wonderful to form community around our experience of our metaphysical senses, and to find out that these metaphysical senses are not so strange and not so unusual as we often are led to think. If you liked this video, feel free to hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe and join us as we continue on this journey of spirit communication and lots of other spiritual topics. To make sure that you get all of the notifications from the subscription, you want to hit the notification bell right by the subscribe button and make sure that all notifications are turned on. I had so much fun sharing with everybody today, and I hope that you have a joyful rest of your day. The 6 and as I talk about these different metaphysical so I want to make it very clear that these metaphysical